Well, our worst fears have come true. EVO 2020 has officially been cancelled. What a time to be alive, right? You know, it really stings after seeing the official EVO Twitter announce this. And after seeing the number of likes and replies, I'm definitely not in a minority. Memes aside, this is heavy news for fighting game fans everywhere. Never had I imagined that an EVO would be cancelled for any reason, especially not this. For those of you who aren't familiar with EVO, it is essentially the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. The main EVO event is located in Las Vegas and is held once every year. EVO Japan is a fairly new tournament that began its legacy in 2018. Professional gamers and competitors alike gather every year to compete in these tournaments. Some participate purely for fun, while others compete for monetary value. Whether your favorite player wins or loses, we all win by being graced with the huge pool of talent participating in the dozens of games featured in the main events and side tournaments. As the icing on the cake, developers behind these illustrious fighting games come out during the last day of EVO to announce updates and new entries. In the words of Maximilian Dude, it's fighting game Christmas. Now that EVO 2020 is cancelled, what happens next? Will we eventually get these announcements? Will we have to wait? Will these companies give us total radio silence? Hey, I hope you don't mind me cutting in here. If you liked the video so far, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. Oddly enough, EVO may not be completely cancelled. As announced by the official EVO Twitter, there will be some form of online tournament that will take the place of the event this year. Whether this is good news or bad news, I'll leave that judgment up to you. Playing a fighting game locally and online are often two starkly different experiences. Locally, you wouldn't have to worry about dropping frames or any obscurities in the gameplay due to an internet connection. The game plays as intended without any disruptions. However, playing online can be a hindering experience due to not only distance, but the quality of internet connection that you and your opponent has, as well as the infrastructure of the netcode itself. The only games of the lineup that I could see even remotely having a decent experience would be Street Fighter V Champion Edition, Tekken 7, and maybe Soul Calibur 6. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is totally out of the question due to not only the game being unavailable on the marketplace, but the lobby system being outdated and an overall pain to work with. And don't even get me started on Smash Ultimate. That's going to be a nightmare on Elm Street. Although the situation seems grim, it raises the question of whether or not video game companies will take the online infrastructure of their games more seriously. If the state of the world remains this way for even another year, companies like Capcom and Namco will lose profit due to their events being cancelled. I can only imagine that the Capcom Pro Tour is hurting right now. Just recently, I remember Smash Ultimate trending due to fans pushing for them to improve the online. Whereas more people are at home due to the quarantine, they have more time to play games and improve their skills. I feel as though more movements will be organized in order to garner the attention of fighting game developers. This can be a good thing. Imagine at least half of the games in the lineup having fully implemented Robat netcode. The online could potentially be good enough to conduct online tournaments using a lobby system. There could still be the issue of someone having terrible internet service. Sure, but it would alleviate the concerns of thousands who have suffered through terrible delay-based netcode. This may very well be the path that developers will go down. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if the respective companies will announce updates and patches in the future to improve online features. It would just be a shame that something like this would be the reason for such an improvement. Fans have been asking and begging for such improvements for years. Whether or not those updates would be ready in time for EVO is another story. Although I am concerned with the state of EVO, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't concerned with the game announcements as well. The announcements on the last day of EVO are arguably as important as the competitions themselves, as announcements often introduce new characters, mechanics, and even new entries to a series. It shapes the future for the respective fighting game. With that being said, I have no doubt in my mind that we will still receive those updates on the final day of this alternative online EVO event. Despite the lack of a live audience, there is nothing that would prevent companies from streaming their announcements online. As we've seen from Nintendo with their Nintendo Directs, the streaming approach works. Whether there are difficulties with the tournament organization or a lack of an announcement or two, I still intend on supporting EVO and watching the competitions through and through. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the content, check out my video on Street Fighter 6 and the RE engine. You'll love it.